welcome to another episode of the Pursuing Greatness podcast, the place experts share their wisdom on living well by mastering health, wealth, relationships, and spirit. Before we get started, I want to let you know that the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends and family. Also, if you'd like to learn more about how to master life, check out our website at pursuinggreatnesspodcast.com. With that said, I hope you enjoy the episode. We have a very special guest with us today, so grab your pen and paper and enjoy the journey. All right, we are live. Today we have with us Tim Kelly. Tim is the managing partner at Kelly Housing Group, ADPI Capital. He is also the chief education officer and the co-owner of Active Duty, ADPI, Active Duty. You know, I forgot the PI. I'm sorry, Tim.
Passive income, man.
Passive
Active duty, passive income.
We're on a real estate show, and I totally screwed that one up. Active duty, passive income. He is also an active duty. He is active duty. He's a chief petty officer in the Navy. So that a lot of things on your plate, Tim. I love that you showed up here today. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Let's have some fun and drop some knowledge bombs here.
Love it, love it. To get everybody started, why don't you tell everyone who you are, what you do, and how you got started in real estate in the first place?
Yeah, thanks, man. Like I said, it's a pleasure. My name's Tim Kelly. I'm right now currently in Pensacola, Florida. I'm active duty stationed down here in the Navy as a senior enlisted guy, a chief petty officer. And so, but at this point, I'm getting ready to separate at 15 years, and a lot of my my counterparts here in the Navy, especially the other chiefs, are looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm separating at 15 when I can go 20 years and get a pension, for the rest of your life. And a lot of them call that free money, right? But what I would have to sacrifice for the next 5 years is my time, my health, my relationships, the baby that my wife and I want to have here like really soon. And so for me, it's not worth it because I've set myself up and I've hyper focused on real estate investing and education and just abundance and giving back. So,
when you say separate, that means leaving the Navy, correct?
Yeah, that just means I'm just essentially voluntarily getting out.
Gotcha.
And I'm not going to be receiving any kind of pension or anything because you have to do 20 years in the military to receive a pension. And it's actually changed. That's when I joined in 2005. But I mean, after that, over the past couple of years, they've completely changed. The pension isn't the same anymore, and the retirement system is completely different. And it's like what I believe is just the next step closer to having the pension completely vanish, because no other corporations or companies are have that pension in place because it doesn't make sense for the employer.
Yeah,
it makes sense for the employee, but now they're shifting the burden to employees and saying, you got to learn how to invest on your own. I'm not going to take care of you for the rest of your life because you're probably going to leave me within the next 5 years. So if you want to get, if you want to take care of your family financially, you got to take it upon yourself. But not many people are actually doing it. They're investing in a 401k and calling that a retirement, which is not a retirement arrangement.
Yeah. My dad, he worked at Boeing for 40 years and he has a pension. And I always looked at his pension and I was like, how can they possibly be in business? This doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's got to be draining them. So, you're leaving before you get the pensions because you've already done all of this investing. You already kind of set yourself up for financial success, for financial stability with your real estate. So going to that, how did that get started and what have you been doing?
Yeah, it's called freedom. It's called time freedom, and some people call it financial freedom, but it's time freedom. And luckily, I stumbled across a couple books on our deployment back in 2014. All of them were about building wealth and personal finance because I always had an interest in that. And I kept seeing like a pattern about real estate investing, and there's more millionaires and billionaires created using real estate as a vehicle than any other vehicle, and all these benefits. And I could talk about the 6 layers of profit and the profit centers of real estate. I learned all that stuff. I'm like, all right, look, I got off that deployment and I just dove in. I consumed every book, podcast, and I ended up paying way too much for real estate education and coaching and mentorship. I just consumed all of that. And, I was going horizontal across all the different ways that you can make money in real estate, from the single family wholesaling to single family flipping to buy and hold, and the BRRRR strategy, then multifamily, then commercial, all these different things.
So wait, question there. What's that? How much was your first, you said wholesale first. I feel like everybody does a wholesale the first time they get in. How much did you make on that first wholesale?
I never wholesaled one deal. My first deal was an apartment community.
Oh,
So,
shit. All right.
yeah, and this is where I'm going with that. I learned about all the horizontal, ways that you can make money, and to include wholesaling, flipping, single family BRRRR strategy, the single family creative finance, subject twos, all that, and then multifamily and commercial. And I didn't get traction until I'm still in education phase, until I chose one. And what attracted me the most was large multifamily. So that's all I focused on. And for about probably 6 months to 12 months, I just didn't let anything else distract me. Read a bunch of books. Every time I read about real estate, talked about real estate, networked, went to meetups, it was solely multifamily. Then I quickly said, I convinced myself that I was a multifamily investor. And that's step one. If you can't convince yourself, you're not going to be able to convince anybody else that you are a multifamily investor, because people won't take you seriously until you convince yourself you're a multifamily investor and you could speak the language, right? That's where education comes confidence. You're going to have the confidence to share criteria with brokers and share criteria with bankers and lenders who you're trying to ask for all this money from, and potential partners and investors. So that's kind of how I got traction, because I honed my focus on education. And I kind of just I transitioned from where I was stationed in one place, got stationed in another place, which is here in Pensacola. I got here and closed on a fourplex first because I wanted a house hack using a 203K FHA loan, bought a 4-unit. And then 6 months later, I closed on a 42 unit because I did so much education. That was the first syndication. That was about 3 years ago.
Dude,
since then, it's just been apartment communities, mobile home communities. I've helped close over 1,000 doors at this point, and I'm still active duty. Like, I just can't wait till I can get out and get some real traction and really, create a lot more abundance.
Dude, yeah, the fact that you did all that while you were active duty kind of blows my mind, because that's a lot to accomplish. I love that you said identity first, because that is exactly how it kind of worked with me. I was doing this for a while, and I couldn't really make any traction until I really had the identity of an investor. Like, I needed to actually believe that I was an investor and I was making an impact in everything that I was doing. And once you get that identity, then things start to move. And it's cool that you went from, you didn't even go into wholesaling or single families or anything like that. You went straight to multifamily, and then your second deal was 42 units. Kind of take us into that. Like, how did you do that syndication? As a second deal, that had to have been, first, a huge learning experience, and second, stressful. So kind of take us through that 42 unit deal and how that kind of transpired.
Yeah. So just to back up, the first time I bought a property, because I'm in the military, I have one of the best benefits they give the military is the VA loan. You could get into a unit, whether it's 1 to 4, you could buy a fourplex even with a VA loan and live in one unit and rent the other. It's also called house hacking, right? Yep. So I didn't know what house hacking was, so I just bought the biggest home I could possibly get that I got approved for, at my last duty station, and I bought a single family home. Luckily, I realized it was too big, and at that point, I didn't know what investing was, didn't know what house hacking was, but I was house hacking. I was renting out one of the other. There was 2 master bedrooms, so I was renting out the lower master bedroom when my wife and I were staying up in the upper level master bedroom. So I was house hacking, and then I ended up selling that because I learned about real estate on that next deployment, like I said, in 2014. And then when I got back from that deployment, ended up just getting my multifamily education, sold that single family home, got a lot of profit, and parked that into a fourplex. Mm-hmm. And that is how I initially did a fourplex using the house hacking strategy. I intended to live in one unit and rent out the other 3. And I used an FHA 203K loan where you could wrap the cost of rehab into the loan. And it's an amazing tool. I believe house hacking is one of the best benefits to really catapult you into a position where, number one, you are a homeowner. You are an investor. You could be a manager and be a landlord if you want to manage those tenants, or you could outsource it. And you're just in a position to where you're able to stack your wealth because you're banking and stacking your rents, all the rents, and you're living for free and you're cash flowing, right? So you're not paying a mortgage. The mortgage is coming back to you the whole time. So while you're educating yourself on the next deal, you just are stacking capital. So house hacking is an amazing tool. And, I can go over the numbers if you want, the detail. And then the 6 months later, after I closed that fourplex, is when I bought the 42 units. So I'll let you, ask the specific questions from there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously your fourplex, you got it with an FHA loan. I'm sure the numbers made sense. We don't need to go too far into that. Let's go into the syndication because, as a second real investment deal, that's a huge leap to make, to set up the syndication, to do your offer memorandum, all that stuff. So kind of tell us, what was that experience like, and how did you really get the confidence to create, follow through on all the steps that need to happen in order for that to close, with it being just your second deal?
Yeah, man, that's such a great question. And like I said, because I had that epiphany where I said, I'm only going to focus on multifamily. While I was educating myself and learning all the terminology and learning about how to find these large deals, how to analyze these large deals, how to add value to these deals, conduct due diligence, syndications with the SEC, with the attorneys that you have to get involved with, and the PPM, and that you have to draft, and raising capital, like all this stuff. It was just different. I was learning like all the different pillars of what it takes to close a deal. And while I was doing that, I was networking with other people who were doing the same, because I knew I wasn't going to do everything myself. I just knew I'm going to take it, I'm going to go bigger. And because it's bigger, I don't have to do everything myself. So I just have to find others that are like-minded and like-hearted, that I could do these deals with. And that's what I knew. And so while I was learning, I was networking and taking action all at the same time. You learn, network, take action, and you're going to figure out how you could add value to a deal to help it close. So I was confident because I just hyper focused, and obviously I paid a lot of money, 30 grand for education and coaching and mentorship through the Rich Dad real estate education, because 4 or 5 years ago, Robert Kiyosaki is coming to Norfolk, Virginia, where I was stationed. So I'm like, dude, I want to meet that guy. I just read his book, so
I feel like that, I always call that the Bible of real estate, because I always ask, what book got you started, or how did you get started in real estate? And everybody's like, oh, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so
that's it, man. I mean, for anybody who's listening, if you haven't read that book, you need to, order that book or listen to that book as soon as you're done listening to this, because it's just a game changer. That's probably the single reason why I'm able to walk out of the military at 15 years to a life of financial freedom where I could travel the world and raise my family, So that's seriously that's the book. That was the catalyst to just open my mind up. And I had all those like inclinations that he was talking about, but they were never solidified until I read that book. And then it's just ignited, and it was just, I was off to the races. But because I had that confidence, and because, I was able to talk the talk, I was able to convince brokers that I was able to close. And that's the key. When you're speaking to agents and brokers, if you can't prove to them that you have the capacity to close deals, they're not going to take you seriously. Yep. If you're not following up with them and they're sending you deal after deal and giving them feedback, providing like, look, this does meet my criteria, boom, 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 I want to talk about this, let's submit an offer and put an LOI in, or if it doesn't meet my criteria, I'm saying, hey, this doesn't meet my criteria because it's this and this and this, that's when they screen you and they send you bad deals on purpose to see if you got what it takes, right? Yep. So because I had that confidence, because I had a partner who was the left brainer, right? The analytical, data-driven guy who actually knew numbers, who would rather be in the back office on his computer. I was the right brain where I was, again, promotion, talking like the visionary, long-term building, able to build relationships. I'm a musician, more creative. So usually you're either predominantly left brain or right brain. And that is like the perfect partnership. If you could find someone with the same values, same integrity, same goals, and like-hearted, like-minded, right? That's a recipe for success. And I actually was on the Bigger Pockets podcast 3 years ago talking about this exact thing. And my partner and I, Jay Helms, and I were on the podcast together, and we spoke about how to establish the perfect partnership, episode 282 on Bigger Pockets. But yeah, man, and because I had that experience, because I had that knowledge, because I was able to convince brokers that we were the real deal, we knew what we were doing, we started seeing some legitimate deals. And because I was active in my REIA, I was able to raise all the capital that we needed to raise because I was convinced myself, and I convinced others that I was a multifamily investor, and I proved to them that, we'll be good stewards of their capital and that we're the real deal. And then, once you do your first deal, I'm telling you, it is the toughest. There's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of grit that you need, a lot of resiliency. That's why I love being in the military, because that's how we're programmed in the military. You get through that, then boom, it's like people will start taking you more seriously. People will start asking you how you did it. People will start giving you their money to invest in your next deal. And it's kind of just a compound effect. And that's where that hockey stick and wealth building and knowledge and just abundance really, really takes off. And it was a very pivotal moment for me. It was awesome.
Exactly. You just got to get that first one done.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you said, I mean, you're talking about partnerships, and you said it all started, you have to have the same values, integrity, and goals. And once you have those lined up, you just mix the skills together and you got yourself gold. And I love that. I have a partnership with two other guys, three of us total, and we all have skills that kind of complement each other. So that's great to hear. So for this 42 unit deal, it sounds like you found it through a broker, and then you raised the capital by going to a REIA and just saying, hey, this is our deal. You can buy a share at whatever equity, and you just raise it completely through that REIA.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest epiphany moment for me when I really got traction in capital raising was I learned that you are not asking for money. There are billions of dollars out there just sitting in brokerage accounts and 401ks and IRAs. It's like it's trapped and it's locked, and the owners of those accounts feel like, look, I know I could tap into this, whether it's self-directed IRA or just cashing out, and because I know I want to invest in real estate. So there are tons of people who have tons of money who want to invest in real estate. You just have to approach them and give them the opportunity. So you're not asking for money. You're offering an opportunity to people who are actually looking for it. You just got to put yourself in those environments like the RIAs and the conferences and online groups and things like that to prove to them that you have what it takes, to prove to them that you know what you're talking about, and not asking for money, but you're providing an investment opportunity. That was the big paradigm shift for me. So yeah, because the minute I got here to this new location, I literally went to that very next RIA meeting, and I just found all the multifamily investors, both on the GP side and the LP side. I found other investors that were doing deals, and I found other investors that were looking to invest passively in deals. And, that's how the magic happened. That was it. 90% of the capital was raised in that local RIA here where I still am right now, because I was active in it. And because I let people know in the RIA who I was, what I was all about, that I was a multifamily investor. This is what I'm offering you. How could you collaborate? But like being interested in their goals is really important too. It's not about what you want. It's about, if you want to offer an opportunity, before I even give you the opportunity, tell me what your goals are. Tell me what you want to achieve in investing, and then I'll see if we'll see if it's a good match, if it's meant to be, and then I'll offer you what it would take, for you to get involved in my deal, right? 25 grand minimum, you'll get at least a 10% cash on cash return, IRRs of between 15 and 18. You'll get quarterly distributions, making sure you're willing to invest 5 to 7 years capital. Most likely, because it's a reposition, we'll turn it around in 2 years, 48 or 24 months, and you'll see it. But again, as a side note, you never want to you always want to overpromise and you never want to overpromise and underdeliver. You want to, you want to under promise and over deliver always. So if you tell them you're giving them 10% cash on cash, make it like 10.8 or 11.1 or something. But then the IRR is, you suggested 15 on the pro forma or on your investment deal package. Give them the 16 or the 17 over the 5-year period. And that's how they'll invest you their next deal with you, and they'll just take you seriously. That's instant credibility, and that is how you keep investors. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I love it. And I love that you said you framed it in your mind when you're approaching them as offering an opportunity versus asking for money. I know, I've doing a syndication or anything like that, going and asking people with the mindset of asking people for money kind of makes you fearful. Like,
it's heavy.
Almost. Yeah, exactly.
It's heavy. It's like, you're hesitant. You don't want to do it because, money's already this proven just like elephant in the room in most conversations, in most places.
Yeah.
But like, if you're offering an investment opportunity, but if you already know you're talking to a person who like knows about real estate and who's interested in potentially investing, that's where it's like, it's really offering them an opportunity. You're doing a good thing for them. You're
Yep.
adding value to their life. You're not trying to sell anything. Technically you are. We could talk about that. You have to sell yourself to get to that point. You got to sell the deal, in order to secure the capital for them to actually wire to you hard. So
Yeah.
there is
And it's
sales that is
more.
included, but
Yeah.
you're offering an opportunity. You're never asked for money. I mean, that is just a paradigm shift that will free up your mind a little bit and, a little bit more at ease when you're going after it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even, it's even for, you said for people who are in real estate, but it's the same for people who aren't in real estate. They have savings, they have 401ks, and being able to invest in an actual real estate deal, it'll get them more money than if they were to put it in the stock market or wherever. Other options for investment are not going to get them the return that they would have with the opportunity of investing in your deal. So you're definitely, you're offering an opportunity. You're not asking for money at all. It's just getting in that mindset is always the hard part.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. So, investing is just one thing you do. You also have your education platform. Kind of take us into active duty passive investing.
Yeah, ADPI, right? Active duty passive income. It's
yep.
It was shortly after I was on the Bigger Pockets podcast, and about 3 years ago, I gave out my cell phone number on the podcast, and people thought I was crazy. But as a side note, you should strive to be on a podcast. It's just a game changer to get out there, to get uncomfortable, and just promote what you're doing, talk about what you're doing, and adding value to other people. But that was another pivotal moment for me when I was on a podcast, because I gave out my number. I had all these people call me who either needed my help, which I love coaching, I love educating and training, or people who wanted to invest with me and give me their money to invest in the next deal. So I really appreciated talking to anybody who called, but one of the people who called was the co-founder of Active Duty Passive Income. I'm not a co-founder. I'm a co-owner at this point, and chief of education and a co-owner. And, we all wear multiple hats, but I wasn't the visionary. They heard me on the podcast and I was talking, so they called me. Since that point, it was almost 3 years ago, they asked me to join the team, and now, like I said, a co-owner. And Active Duty Passive Income is an education platform where we are educating other military members, past and present. You're a veteran, you're a reservist, you're a spouse, how to achieve financial freedom in real estate, like we've done. And we're creating a community of abundant-minded military members who are achieving financial freedom. And, we have a best-selling book called Military House Hacking. Like I said, using the VA loan to buy a fourplex, live in one unit, rent out the other three. I've done it 3 times now. It's an amazing tool. So we have a best-selling book that's free on our website called Military House Hack. And we have a podcast. We've interviewed Robert Kiyosaki and Grant Cardone and Tom Wheelwright and Jocko Willink and, Nathan Brooks we have a great partnership with. And we have all these great people. But we interview the junior soldiers and sailors and officers and Marines that are in the military or have gone through the military training, and they're going through our training, and they're successful in real estate. And it's just amazing. 15,000 members in our Facebook group. We have a single family and residential academy and mastermind, and then a multifamily academy and mastermind. I'm directing that because I've always focused on multifamily. And because we want to fully serve our members, we have a mortgage company, an insurance brokerage, a whole real estate agent network that we can connect our members with who are vetted, and most of them are military and they understand investing. That's really rare when you find an agent. For anybody listening, if you're not military, it's really rare to find an agent who's a good agent and they're valuable because they know investing and they actually invest, right?
Yep.
That's the type of agents that before you even start working with an agent, if you're an investor, you're looking for deals, an agent usually is not great unless you find a good one who really meets all that criteria, right? That's an investor. They understand investing, and they're just a good quality worker. And that's why we love working with the military, because that's just how we're embedded, man. Hard work ethic and good attitude and resilient and all that stuff. So that's a little bit about what we got going on, man. We got a lot of growth happening and a lot of things that we're doing, but we're still at we've bootstrapped it up to this point. We're still at the wee stages of the foundational infrastructure. But next couple of years, it's just going to be we're going to be a household name.
Oh no, man! That's congratulations! It sounds like a great mission, and it sounds like you guys are already experiencing some success. So that's really good to hear. And it sounds like if somebody wanted to learn more about that, if there's any active duty members who are listening to the podcast, they could go to activedutypassiveincome.com in order to get a little bit more involved there.
I mean, I'm going to give out my cell phone number like I did for, especially, I mean, if you're anybody, but especially if you're a vet, man, I'll be glad to give my cell phone number, because if you're serious, just shoot me a text and we'll get on a call, man. If you're listening to this, or if you're seeing this on Facebook Live, and you're actually a friend of Gabe's or a follower of Gabe, then shoot me a text message and we will set up a call. And especially if you're military, I want to talk to you, because I've been there. I'm still active duty. And if you're interested in real estate, you need to kind of come into our community, because it's a lot of free resources, a free VA loan mastery course. I wrote 3 other books other than our bestseller that are free, a credit guide, a blueprint to financial success, step-by-step foundational stuff that really we should all learn in school. That's free, a free resource on our website. We have all this cool stuff, man. So yeah, call me or text me 847-910-9161. Again, 847-910-9161. Shoot me a text and we'll get on a call.
Awesome. There you go. Reach out to Tim. Cool. Well, Tim, hey, I loved everything you've said so far. I'm really glad you jumped on. We are at the end of the podcast. Before we close out, we do have a section where we ask really quick questions and you just give your really quick answer. So to get started, if you could go back to the Tim who was just starting investing, 2014, and give that Tim one piece of advice, what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, basically do everything the same that I did from the point where I first got the multifamily realization, because I went through training. So I wouldn't waste any time at all on wholesaling or single family investing, or any kind of residential, really 1 to 4 units. 5 units and plus is commercial, but we only look at 100+ unit deals because of multifamily. But all I would do is hone my focus on everything multifamily and commercial, because once you learn how to analyze multifamily, you learn how to analyze businesses. And right now is when you need to be owning, selling, buying businesses that are distressed, just like real estate. That's what we do when we're buying commercial property and apartments and mobile home communities. It's just, they're distressed in some kind of way. So that's what I would do. I would just really skip over that year of wasting my time thinking small. That's what I would do.
Killer. I love it. Next question. Habits are what kind of or create the foundation for our lives. So if you could point to one habit that you feel contributes the most to your success today, what would that habit be?
Oh, dude, that's easy. Actually, no, it's really, really hard, because there's a lot of habits, but it's because of personal and professional development and growth. Every single day, be a forever student. Every single day, understand and learn more and more how the successful mind operates, because success is not like a destination, it's a mindset. And right now, today, you could start learning what the success mindset is all about and start emulating that behavior. So because professional personal development and growth, being a forever student, you grow 1% every single day, your all facets of life are going to improve. And that's probably the best thing that I learned about investing in real estate. In order to be a better investor, you just need to learn how to be a better person, because you're giving more value to more people. And when you can give more value to more people, you could improve all facets of life: your health, your wellness, your relationships, your abundance, your philanthropic activities and giving. And so, student, be a forever student, read every day, listen to podcasts every day, grow, meditate, pray, work on you every single day in some way.
I love that answer. I've heard it said that you don't achieve success, you become success, because it's an evolution of the things that you do every day that really create who you need to be in order to achieve the goals that you want in life. Cool. So moving on, next question: your favorite secret place to invest in the United States?
I mean, honestly, there are no secrets that I have, and that's mostly because I share everything I do and that the team does with our community. And so, I would never withhold information. I don't think that's the abundance mindset, at least that I would ever want. So when I find success, I want to share it with as many other people as possible, so they could also join me in being successful. But we're looking at legitimate just MSAs that most people know about. We're investing all over the Midwest and Southeast, but right now what we're most excited about deals are in Indianapolis, and basically like a 50-mile radius around Indianapolis, because our best asset management teams are there, and they make it passive more for us than any other management team that we're working with. And that's why we like buying deals in that region because we have our best boots on the ground are in Indianapolis.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. The kind of south of the Great Lakes, that whole area. I've heard many investors say that that's their favorite place to be buying now. So
Yeah.
in good company there. All right. Next question is books. I'm a big bookie. If you're not a bookie, you can skip this one. If you are, what is your favorite real estate book and your favorite non-real estate book?
Dude, there's like, I wish I could list like 10. Luckily I have a couple really good ones like right here within reach. So the first one, if you haven't read this, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
That's
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. If you have not read this, this is just, again, that mindset book to learn how successful people think. This is just like one of the playbooks. It was the first Audible that I ever listened to. And when they offered the free account, you know, when you listen to, you get one free download. That was my free download. I'm like, what? So I was like, now I'm addicted to Audible because of that.
It's a great relationship book too. I mean, there's so much good advice in that book. It's definitely one of my favorites.
It's not like technical or complicated. It's like, hey, when you're talking to someone, look them in the eye. Hey, right. Praise nice people in public. You know, hey, be genuinely interested in other people when you're networking with them. So then they'll be genuinely interested in you, and you could, you know, have a better conversation. So like. It's just stuff that, again, we should have learned, and they should teach us about this in school instead of freaking parallelograms where like no one's ever going to need to learn about that stuff. But that's a whole rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. So that's probably like the best success or mindset book, but I'm going to throw out a couple ones. You know, some of my favorites are The Go Giver, and amazing. It's like a series all about abundance and giving and mindset called The Go Giver. Another one, you know, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. He's an ex-Navy SEAL commander. We were at the honor of and privilege of interviewing him in our podcast. Amazing dude. He's a best-selling author, but Extreme Ownership is another one. And then the other Navy SEAL that wrote a book called David Goggins. It's called Can't Hurt Me. You know, these are all just required reading if you want to be successful. At least in our military community, we love promoting those types of books because it's coming from military dudes. So, and then, you know, another one, you know, specifically on like, it's kind of a hybrid real estate and mindset. It's called Wealth Can't Wait by David Osborne and Paul Morris. Yeah, if you haven't read this, it's amazing. I'm actually in a mastermind group with David Osborne. He's worth about $150 million. Him and I were just hanging out last week in Breckenridge together. That's with the Go Abundance tribe. You know, and just obviously you have to choose your tribe wisely because you are who you hang out with. I'm sure you've heard that before. Yep. But I mean, I'll give you two more. The multifamily books that were really the catalysts to my transition in, okay, I want to focus on multifamily was one, The ABCs of Real Estate by Ken McElroy. He is, you know, Rich Dad's real estate advisor. Robert Kiyosaki's real estate advisor. And again, if you don't know who that is, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know, he's the one that read Rich Dad or wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. So The ABCs of Real Estate was written by his real estate advisor, Ken McElroy. And then, so he wrote a second one called The Advanced Guide to Real Estate, which again, focuses on multifamily. A couple more. You got to read Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright. He's Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's tax advisor and CPA. And then Loopholes of Real Estate is by Garrett Sutton, which is Robert Kiyosaki's legal advisor. And we've luckily been to be able to interview all these people. Yeah. But again, game-changing books. It's all mindset, like real estate. You have to have that foundation of like, why does real estate make sense? Why is real estate so accessible? Why can anybody do this? You know, why should I spend time on real estate, and what will it do for me? Can it set me up with financial freedom? And it can. It's all about education, and that's like the hub of education that I went through before I really just, you know, fired off and took big action steps.
I love it. Yeah, on the Real Estate Investing Club website, in the resources section, we have a list of books, you know, that we recommend. I think every single one that you just listed is on there. So those are good recommendations.
Oh man, outstanding. Yeah. It's because it's true, man. I mean, I'm not lying. That's the books that I read to put me where I'm at today. So,
all right, next question. Tools and apps. I feel like we have too many of them in our lives, but some of them are actually useful. They actually do provide, you know, add to your life. So if you could give one recommendation for an online tool or app that you feel actually does contribute to your life, what is that recommendation?
I'm probably just going to have to say Voxer, just because it's the number one way that we communicate at ADPI. Active Duty Passive Income uses a tool called Voxer. It's a walkie-talkie app. Imagine just like a group text app, but on the bottom, instead of typing in, which you can, it's a group messaging app, but there's a button like a walkie-talkie. You just tap and talk. And so not only do we use that for like quick, hey, what's the status of this? Hey, I'm working on this. Hey, I got a question about this. And you just send it. Not only do we use it for communication and, for in multiple facets of all of our businesses, but we have a multifamily mastermind Voxer channel where all the multifamily mastermind members are in that channel. They can talk back and forth. They have direct access to the whole entire ADPI team and ADPI Capital team, which are the ones that are, buying these big deals, and our tax advisor. So it's a pretty sweet app. And it's just because I use it all day, every day, because it's our number one way that we communicate with each other.
Cool. I love that. I'm going to have to check that out. Voxer, Voxer, correct?
That's right. Yep. Orange. It's a big orange app. Voxer. It's awesome.
Right on. Well, hey, man, that is the end of it. If somebody wanted to reach out, you've given us great advice here. I know you've already given out your number. What is the best way besides the number, email address, anything else that you'd like to give out at this point?
Yeah, like I said, phone number 847-910-9161. If you could shoot me an email, tim@activedutypassiveincome.com. I'm very active on Instagram @TheTimothyKelly, very active on LinkedIn @TheTimothyKelly. If you're not on LinkedIn, you need to get there. I spend the majority of my social media presence is on LinkedIn because it's extremely powerful. For networking. Imagine Facebook, like remove all the loud noise and all the gossip, because most of us want to actually network and leverage it. Imagine Facebook without any of the bullshit, right? It's all in LinkedIn. It's all business. It's all professional. The algorithm is a lot more simple to understand. And more people are going into LinkedIn for business and especially in the real estate industry. So @TheTimothyKelly, follow me on LinkedIn. And then, Facebook, just hit me up, Tim Kelly. I'm spending most of my time in the groups, and we have a private Facebook group for the Multifamily Academy and Mastermind. So most of my Facebook time is on that, but don't hesitate to reach me out. You got my number. It's, no excuses. If you're serious about it, you're going to be the only one that holds you back. And these are the types of decisions that you need to make. Like, look, I got to reach out to this dude because it's all about people. It's all about reaching out and networking and creating relationships and getting ideas from others who have gone before you. So again, you're the only one that is going to hold you back. And stay curious and stay hungry and, practice gratitude, man.
Killer. Awesome. Well, hey, Tim, again, thanks for showing up. For everybody who's able to make it on this episode today with us, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason that we do this. So thanks for being here. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends and family. And have a good week, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys for sticking with us on another episode of the Pursuing Greatness podcast. I hope you got a lot of value out of that guest. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family. Also, check out pursuinggreatnesspodcast.com if you want to get more information about what we do and what we offer. I hope you guys have a great day and keep living in integrity with yourselves. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode coming shortly.